Alright, I'm going to show you how to set up a simple little test that will show you what key is being pressed. It will display a number on screen that shows you the number of the key you're pressing, and that will help you figure out which key you want to map to what joystick button. So we're going to create a robot. So I'm going to press F10 and bring up a robot, and doesn't matter what it's called, so key press, and select a character, and we're going to create a simple loop. So the label at the top to return to we'll call top, and we'll add a wait pause, wait 1. That will pause the game for one cycle, and that happens pretty fast. I think there's probably 15 cycles in a second or so, so it's pretty quick. You want to always add a wait command in any loop you're running in Megazeux. If you don't have a wait command, there are a lot of times the loop will run at a very high speed, and you might wind up slowing your game down with loops. We're going to add a line here that creates a message at the bottom of the screen that displays the number of the key being pressed. So the asterisk is what creates the comment at the bottom of the screen, and whatever you type for the message needs to be in parentheses. So if I just did this, it would just display hey at the bottom of the screen. But I'm going to have it be a counter called key pressed. And I'm not going to explain what counters are right now. I'll get into robotic in a later tutorial series, but this is just to get you started with joysticks. So I think it's key pressed, and then at the end we're going to return the robotic program to the top. So we're going to say go to top, and this will just run in a continuous loop for us. And one more thing I forgot, I need to put the counter in inside these ampersands, or it won't work right. So now it will display the value of the counter key pressed, which is going to be whatever key is being pressed. So we can try it out. I'm going to save it, and I had already saved it once before. It's called Key Press Megazeux now, and I'm going to test it. So it says 0 because no keys are being pressed. There we go. 116 is key T. Key Q is 113. Space is 32. So right is 275, left is 276. So what you're going to want to do is record these numbers onto a piece of paper. You're going to want to write down the key, so key A or key enter, and then the number. And we're going to want to take that info and put it into the config file. I'll show you that next. Okay, here we are back at the config file. I'm going to scroll down to the section that's got the joystick options. It's ways down here at the bottom. Here we are at joystick options. So I'm going to uncomment these lines, and I have to change a few things about them. So I'm going to change X and Y to 1. This is joystick 1, axis 1, and I think axis 1 is left and right. 1 is typically left and right. 2 is typically up and down. So we're going to put in 276, 275. That's going to be arrow keys left and right. and then joy 1 axis 2 equals 273, 274. And that's going to be arrow keys up and down. So that'll make my my joystick on my controller emulate up and down and left and right key presses. So this is going to be joystick 1, and if you were going to have a second controller, you'd want to copy this, but you'd want to make it joystick 2, and obviously it would need to be different buttons from joystick 1. So this is going to be button 1, and you're going to have to play around with the joystick to figure out buttons 1 through however many buttons your controller has. That part I can't help you with. It's just going to be trial and error. So we're going to paste this a bunch of times. Okay, I finished pasting these commands in here, and I've finished changing them. So joy 1 all the way down, buttons 1 through 10, and these are the keys that I want these buttons to emulate. So now I should be able to save this file, and I should have joystick support in Megazeux. We'll try it out. I guess there's one other thing I should note here. If you're buying a program like Xpatter, you actually don't need to set up the config file for controller support. The reason I bought Xpatter was because I wanted to have support for my Xbox 360 controller for the right stick and also the triggers at the top. Microsoft set the controller up kind of funky. It doesn't work with games like Megazeux natively. You have to actually use a third-party program like Xpatter to have those few parts of the controller be detected by the computer. So if you're going to use, if you're going to be playing a game where you want to have the triggers at the top, at the shoulders of the controller, and also the right stick function, you're going to need Xpatter to do that. And if you don't care about that, then you could just set it up with the config file in Megazeux, and it'll work just fine that way without those. Now, this is two different control programs running side by side to show you a couple different options for controllers that you could use with Megazeux. The first one is the Logitech controller. It's a dual action. It was about 20 bucks, and it works wonderful. I haven't had any problems with it. The only thing I didn't like about it was that it was on a cord, so I couldn't take it over to my television very easily. So I also have an Xbox 360, so I bought a wireless controller for my wireless receiver for my wireless controller for my Xbox, connected it to the computer, and I bought a program called Xpatter, which you can find it, I believe it's just xpatter.com if you do a Google search. It's about 10 bucks. It's a very, very good program. You can use it with all controllers, including this dual action controller if you want. And I have a Minecraft profile on there. I also have a Megazeux profile. And as you can see, I have it all set up. This is the right stick is mouse support. I have this, this click is for the mouse button. And then I have all my keys mapped already, and it works wonderfully. I have no problems with it.